YouTube fans, here again. And I guess I'm talking about the video nasties, not about this one. One of the most maturest, one of the most nastiest, and also was one of the most biggest in Guinness Book records of being one of the most banned titles. What do I mean by that? This one was banned in 31 countries. That's right, 31 countries. Even today, it holds the world record for the most banned countries movie. That being the images, the nastiest of the cannibal films, that being Cannibal Ferox. Now, the same director that doing this Cannibal Ferox, I remember reviewing this a lot of times, that would be Ghost House. But the same director that did that, did this, and he was not a stains of cannibal films neither. He did the first one, that being The Man from Deep River, or Deep River Savages. And he also did Eaten Alive in 1980. And he also did this one, being the imminent Cannibal Ferox. So we're going to go with this. We're going to go with it. In America, it was called Make Them Die Slowly. And this was definitely a disgusting, a dirty, hardcore bloodbath of a movie. I shit you not, it really was an hardcore bloodbath of a film. As you know, in the UK, it is cut to fucking pieces. Don't even bother with it in the UK. If you thought Eating Alive was cut to shit, this makes that look like fuck all. This movie is literally cut to shit in the UK. And in the UK, as I just mentioned, it was a video nasty. Now, this was considered a rip-off of Cannibal Holocaust, and I've got a disagree. It does have similarities, and it does not. And there's a lot of well-known actors who appeared in video nasties, as well as cannibal films. You've got one guy who works for a loan shark, like a dancer, who, funny enough, was a guy that got killed in Cannibal Holocaust. Then you've got a cop who appeared in Cannibal Holocaust, as well as Eaten Alive. You got a few other stars on the way. You got a Durgold Ruby, who remember right there, or it could be Barbara. And if I remember right there, she played in House by the Edge of the Park, which one enough one of the other actors did. Let's go with the film. You get a bit the same similar sort of music what you hear in Eating Alive, a bit of disco music, and a little bit different. You can always tell it's the uncut one because you do get a monologue with a woman warning about the disturbing stuff in this film, one of the most violent films ever made, take way to market your film, and then you get the disco music. You get one lad, one place, one time, gets shot, gets killed. The acting's really shitty. Okay, where is this motherfucker? Seriously, that's the acting as well as the dubbing. So he gets twatted and he gets shot, and you think, but the bits where he knew that, them bits, you could have done that, and it wouldn't have done the film any harm. It would just made the pacing this up faster, because it's like, to me, it's like two movies in one. The bits where in America, to me, was fucking boring and went nowhere. Right, went nowhere. You got one woman, you got the cop played by the actor I just said. Now, I liked him in Cannibal Holocaust, and I liked him in Eating Alive, but in this, I could take him or leave him. You know what I mean? I could take him or leave him. I thought he was a bit wooden in this, and it's sort of the same because I like him in them two films. Whether it be Eating Alive, whether it be Cannibal Holocaust, in this, I could take him or leave him. So you get, fancy you get the film you want to see, and all they did was they just used cutaways from the opening of Cannibal Holocaust. But again, took bits of the jungle, and at first it's like a jungle adventure film. So you get Ruby, that's her name, Ruby, Barbara, and all these lung people, right? And I think right, the Ruby's doing, if I remember rightly, she's doing research on cannibalism. So there's nothing at all. That's the only similarities. They're not reporters. She's a student, university student, I'd say, doing research on cannibals, right? And on the way, they warn them not to go in this part of the jungle because they're stupid. They do. And long and behold, they have to, again, there's a lot of animal cruelty, especially on the uncut one. You've got this really cute little rodent, and it gets tied up, and you get the horrible looks of that, say horrible. You just get to see it get crushed to death by a Takatoba snake. Lovely. You hear it steaming in pain, the lot. So it definitely doesn't fuck around with the animal cruelty, like most of these cannibal films. Again, the bits with the lone sack and the tansters, them bits, take it or leave it. When the bits in the jungle, even though the acting's not the best, it does really get a notch from it being a jungle adventure film. You get the main villain, who's been in that a lot of films, like I say, being in the house by the edge of the park. And you get Rube and the others. They meet up with these people who are telling a story about a place with cannibals and how they decapitated this poor guy. And the other guy is badly wounded. They find dead bodies on the way, really, of the cannibals. And long and behold, they get stranded in a cannibal infested place. Now, at first, they find out that's bullshit. The guy who's dying told them that it is bullshit, that he's got this guy in a cannibal place. He decapitated him, cut it down there, so they put it in detail, and then he dies. And if that's not bad enough, the cannibals get him, and then the uncut one is a lot more graphic. Stab him in the duck, pull his insides out, chaffer his soles it, and the munching on his guts and insides. If that's not nasty enough, they then fucking taste the others. They get Ruby, they get Barbara, they get Amar, they get a buffer, and then they try the main badder to a T. First they're pointing him, and he spits in the face. They pull his undies down, there's some men shorts, and they cut his, should I put it in detail? They cut him off down there. They cut that off. And again, it's traffic. I'm not going to say what else they do, but it's definitely traffic. So the film really does get graphic, it really gets bloodthirsty. You could definitely see why it was a video nasty, and you could definitely see why it was banned in a number of countries, being 31 countries. So the guy gets away because they don't exactly kill him, they blind his wound, they just basically cut away his manhood. That's way of having a sex change. And he goes to get away again. They get him, for his punishment, they this time cut his hand off. Again, chaffered his soles it. But the one who plays Julia, I think it's Julia, you don't feel sorry for her fate because she's going on about a dad dying and everything. He's dying of cancer. Then they get her, they rip the top off her. Oh, they killed the buff and he tries to get away, but he basically gets to look his death of her. He gets shot by a poisonous dart and he dies. But the one I'm about to say is they get Julia, they rip her top off, they put like blood near the breasts, and if that ain't nasty enough, they get a piece of hook, wrap it between the breasts, graphically sews it, and then halfway through the film they got her hooked by her breasts, and you get the horrible looks there of seeing her bleed to death. The one that cut his hand off, they have this man-made wood, holds his head to one side, so you only got the bald bit of his head. One of the cannibals slice a big jugular off his head, and then they get chucked into his fucking brains. Now, I do know in the Italy one, there was a lot more graphicness in it. I think, like, I remember seeing a still photo where the guy put some of the brains near, I think, like, there was Barbara, or was it Julia, and she moves her face like that. So there's a lot more blood and gore in the Italy one. You can get that one now, you're the dudder, but if you can get it in its uncut version, in its sat, it's definitely brutal, it's definitely nasty, definitely doesn't fuck about. I remember, like, the poor Julia, I think that's her, she bleeds to death. Now, one of the cannibals, he feels sorry for her, he believes her, she runs away. By accident, the cannibal, being a dope, accidentally walks in his own cannibal trap and gets killed. But see, lucky enough, they see his poachers, they poach him for monkeys, and they find her almost half dead, but they manage to save her. And it gets her getting an award. She's in denial of what's happened. She's limping because she's got a bit of a limp. She gets the award. She's a face. She's in shock. Pauses. End of movie. So it's definitely a nasty film when you get to see the uncut one. Again, in the UK, cut to shit. In our country, not in our country, cut to shit. But if you can see it in America, which in America it's called Make Them Die Slowly, or in other countries, Cannibal Ferox, you get to see it in its trap, and it definitely is a brutal film. A lot of animal cruelty, like most cannibal films. Definitely is bloodthirsty. You feel sorry for the Durgo Barber, He gets the worstest death of all. Like I said, he gets 2 hooks on her breasts, drag her up, and she literally bleeds to death. Definitely doesn't fuck about. Similar to like the Man of Horse. But in this, they do it to kill her. And her death is very gruesome and very brutal. You don't feel sorry for her. The main bad egg gets the worstest death of all. He gets his manhood cut off, gets his hand cut off, then gets half his head cut off, and then he's dead. The brother gets a poisonous dart. He dies. And the only one what's the lucky one of all is the sister. So, but I do prefer this one. I like the sock in the face. You can definitely feel for her. Yes, he definitely gets out of dodge, but the others, not really. So, Cannibal Ferox, like I say, it was banned in a number of countries, being 31 countries. Still today, one of the nastiest films. Don't bother with it in the UK. Don't bother. Cut to shit. You're gonna get it. If you can find the American one called "Make Them Die Slowly," or in other countries, if it's in English, and you get the woman's monologue saying the most violent movie ever made. That's the one to go for if you want to see it in its track, because I think the uncut one is the one that has most of the impact. It's one of the most nastiest. And it's like I said, the director later on did more respectful films, whether it be Ghost House and so on. But in this one, definitely is a brutal film. You can definitely see why this one was considered a video nasty. Definitely is one of the popular ones, that being Cannibal Ferox. Fuck it. 3-star rating if you're going into it for blood and gore. The acting's not the best. Like I said, the cop scene, I felt them scenes dragged on. Felt like it weren't really needed. When you get to the jungle, you get to the cannibals, that's definitely brutal. But into them people, be smart, be safe. See you later.